The Strengthening Civic Advocacy and Local Engagement Palladium Project held an inaugural National Organizational Development Summit with the theme Promoting Organizational Development Resilience through Shared Learning and Co-Creation, with funding from USAID. The hybrid summit focused on two broad goals: building sustainable organizations, improving organizational performance through organizational development. The summit attracted 1,200 participants globally, including donors, foundations, private sectors, civil society organizations, business membership organizations, organizational development experts, and emerging organizations.
USAID's Strengthening Civic Advocacy and Local Engagement Program, or SCALE, as we call it, works with a multitude of civil society organizations and business management organizations in a number of areas. Includes fiscal transparency, trafficking in persons, gender-based violence, and managing the civic space, just to name a few.
Our goal is to strengthen the financial, management, and advocacy capacity of Nigerian local civil society and business membership organizations, so they can create a more accountable, transparent, peaceful, and democratic Nigeria with more effective and efficient public service delivery.
SCALE is really designed to do the system strengthening for local organizations, and in a large part by other local organizations. That kind of local mentor, local mentee process.
This summit is looking at how shared learning, co-creation, collaboration, networking can effectively lead the organizations to the point of resilience, performance, and sustainability.
Civil society organizations have a great role to play in the development of any society, in partnership and collaboration with government and the private sector. And donors across the world support civil society work in many ways.
Donors are part and parcel of us. We really can't make headway in terms of what we do because we are non-profit making organizations.
The summit provided a platform to envision how civil society organizations can address current, evolving, and future institutional challenges to drive organizational leadership, generate new thinking, and institutionalize a sustainable organizational culture in Nigeria.
For building sustainable organizations, we first start with a vision and mission of the organization. Why do we exist, and what issues or problems we would like to solve? And you identify yourself, that space that you work on. Then based on that, you develop your strategies.
Missions are like stars, so you cannot touch them, but like seafarers in the desert of waters, you use them to guide you.
Persistence is that vehicle that will drive you to that destination that you want.
Building a sustainable organization is something that involves all the parties involved. And when I talk about all the parties involved, I talked about the individuals who are setting up an organization and also development partners, maybe including maybe government, providing an enabling environment.
We're going to see how we embed some of these experts that we have graduated today into our partners, our existing partners. So identify our partners that need support and then see how we can support these new graduates to support them. So that's a lot of support, but that's like our quick plan for moving them forward.
Local NGOs have listened to most of the bigger NGOs that span over 2 decades, and they've listened to their starting point to where they are at the moment. Rendering development to them has to do with them doing an approach, because without that, if you render a development assistant to a lame CSO, then you've just wasted the assistance.
One of the key things I always advocate and I always say to people is that funding is critical. Funding is the lifeline of most organizations. But beyond funding, before you get the funding, you need to set your house in order. So beyond funding is to show impact of the kinds of things that you're already doing as an organization. You need to show that your services have been relevant and they are achieving results. And when those results are shown, definitely both local fundraising and international fundraising is available.
Please don't see us only as source of money, because that is where the problem comes in. If our relationship is transactional, it's just because we come and see and then we give you money and go, then I think we're also missing the point. And I think Chichi made the point about trust-based philanthropy.
And sustainable organizations start from, first of all, trust. The first thing is to trust organizations that they have the capacity and that they have the will to do what they're able to do. And once you trust an organization, it makes it easier for you then to truly partner with that organization.
Sustainability from a financial perspective. Do you have a diversified income stream? Are you dependent on many options, including earned income, donor funding, grant funding? Have you figured out a way to ensure your financial sustainability, including having an endowment, which many of the organizations I've started already have, your own building, something to ensure that if donor funding shifts, you're not left high and dry?
There are certain organizations here who have broken boundaries. And if those organizations actually come back and say they are no more sustainable, it will be very odd because they have broken all the basic boundaries with the kind of support that they have.
So Momentum has recently rolled out our new theory of change. And that is where we believe equitable locally led development can only be achieved when organizations started to exercise autonomy over their institutional architecture, their people, their funding models, as well as their risk. In that way, they will start to be more sustainable by looking at all the various different operating models that they have.
Major learning shared by participants include developing a clear strategy for building multiple streams of income, maintaining trust and partnership between donors and CSOs, building a culture of accountability, investing in young professionals for a smooth succession.
If we take cognizance of the healthy status of our organization, then we'll be able to build a sustainable organization that does not revolve around an individual, but that takes processes and procedures into place.
The summit is a great eye-opener, and it has given me an opportunity to build my capacity to have a better understanding on how the civil society space is.
Growing emerging CSOs through partnership with more established CSOs. And finally, deploying digital technology for organizational development training, coaching and mentorship.
The takeaway messages that really was emphasized times and again in the summit was really about putting your succession plan in place in the organization, put your strategies, policies in place.
Sometimes it's not about what you are learning in the classroom, but how you apply it and how you use common sense to balance up what you are doing. And in the forefront is tenacity, and on the other side is being able to adapt to things that are coming up every day.
Every stage of organizational development that we get to is an opportunity for you to learn.
So I'm really hoping that people have taken home some of these approaches, some of these strategies. I've had the chance to speak with a few people, and one of the things that they've shared with me is that they've really learned a lot. They've learned things that they are going to take back into their organizations and implement them.
There's a lot of networking already going on. I have been networking with people have been networking with me, and I think that beyond the conference hall, we should take this networking forward. And of course, finally, I think that we should have the opportunity all the time, once in a while, to come and reflect and co-create new interventions.
I believe that NGOs will leave this conference strengthened, empowered to deliver on their mission.
We're going to be following up with organizations and just basically get insights from them on how we can continue to support them. So that's the outcome that I envisage from this platform, just learning more on how the project can continue to support civil society.
And with what we have heard from the summit, we're going to engage those strategies that we are hearing to continue on that interventions.